So we're nearing the end of the Remembrance Day contest here. If some of you would have seen my live stream yesterday, I only went for about 5 odd hours on that because I was feeling a bit tired and a little bit under the weather. But I wanted to show you a little bit of a tour through of all of the radios and the setup that I've got here for the contest. It was a last minute ditch attempt to get some bands on the air because of some logistical issues that we've got here. But come and have a look at a tour and I'll show you what I've got going. So the first thing is the operating position, and obviously I use my studio microphone here, which is the Shure MV7. That drives the 7610. Let me just turn it down a little bit there, they're still contesting. And I can listen on 6 meters on one side, I can listen on HF on the other, or any HF band, I can flip them over if I need to, which is really handy. The one thing that I had a problem is I've only got one cable which comes from this microphone. It's also got a bit of a problem at the start of my live stream. I wasn't getting audio out. I've got one cable for the audio from the mic with one PTT. Next year, I think I need to build a breakout box so that I can have two cables going to either rig and then switch between them two so that I can operate really easily like that. For contesting, a foot switch is a must. So I've got one foot switch under there, which drives either one of the 7610 or the 9700. So yes, I did learn. I need to swap this over all the time, which is really frustrating, especially if I want to switch quickly between VHF and UHF. So what I've got here is I've got HF running, as I mentioned, and I've also got two antennas. I've got a 6 meter antenna on one port and HF antenna on the other port. And on the bottom here, I've got the 9700. So I've got three antennas plugged into this, one on 2 meters, one on 70 centimeters, and then another one on 1.2 gigs. You can see there's someone talking on there at the moment. I've also got the 705 sitting over here. So the 705 is operating on as a transverter IF on 430 megs, which is for my 3.4 gigahertz transverter over here. Now this runs 20 watts into a grid pack, which I've got set up, and there's quite a few people that use 3.4 gigs around the local area here, so we can get quite a few contacts and boost our numbers, because everything above 1.2 gigs is double points, and then between 1 and 5 a.m. it's like triple points. Not that I got that many contacts at that time, but still I've got that set up. So I've got my 3.4 gig transverter. I had some issues though, because I usually set this up pointing at our mountain, Mount Wellington, which we reflect all of our microwave signals off as a common point to beam towards. I didn't have time to set it up out the front, and I made the choice to go and set it up outside pointing the other way, which I thought would work a lot better, but it didn't. And I can't hear hardly any of the stations that I normally do. So that was a lesson learned. The bottom transverter here is for 2.4 gigahertz. There's only about three stations, myself and two others, who are on this band. Obviously, because of the double points and the triple points, it's worth trying to get this operational, but I just didn't have time. But then what I did do is I jerry-rigged this up. So the 9700 usually runs 10 watts on 1.2 gigs. I had a 50 watt PA, which had been sitting in the box for a little while. I just hadn't gotten to it. This is a power amplifier and a low noise amplifier in one from SG Labs, and I wanted the 50 watts out of it. So I jerry-rigged this up. I used my Victron 12 to 24 volt converter, and I made up a lead last minute yesterday. This is the PTT line coming from the 9700. I've got the radio input here, and then I've got the output using LDF 450 hardline, which goes to the antenna outside, which is a 15 element Yagi, and then I've got the 28 volts coming out of the Victron, but all being powered off the 12 volt power supply. And this actually worked really well. A lot of people could hear me a lot better than they normally could, and I could also hear them too, but it was a little bit jerry-rigged, and I need to set that up so that it's a little bit better. And of course, this is the antenna system outside, the DX Commander Vertical, which runs 80 through to 10 meters, as well as 6 occasionally. I can use it on that as well. So that was my main HF antenna. The 6, 2 and 70 centimeter vertical, which is the Diamond V2000 antenna. And then also this is the temporary setup, which is the grid pack on 3.4 gigahertz and the 1.2 gig Yagi antenna. So although I couldn't get as many contacts as I wanted, I'm still sitting on, there's about half an hour left in the contest. I'm sitting on about 424 points, 283 QSOs. By far, it's not my best effort, but still, it's not too bad considering how lousy I felt. I slept all night and didn't make many contacts in the key times, but at the end of the day, I had fun. I gave out some numbers, and hopefully some of the others also got some of the contacts and used the points as well that I gave out. So next year, I'm going to learn from it. I'm going to build that breakout box, so hopefully get 1.2 gigs, and I'm definitely going to put my antennas pointing in the right direction.